Alright, so here's the Pro Dagger build. The purpose of this build is to shred NPCs by teleporting and just going ham with the swing speed. Here are all of the items that you need. I'll put how to get all of them in the description. And for the Reforge, I recommend Jagged or Deft. And if you can't get the Sharktooth necklace, you can also replace it for the Diamond's ring. Alright, so the skill tree is Rude and Bloodthirst maxed out. And for defense, it's really optional on what you want to go with. I just went with Tenacity, Tank, and Juggernaut. But if you're looking to fight bosses with this build, I recommend going with Aced Rally instead of all of these 3 base. This build is so good at just shredding NPCs for items. If you're farming for an item from one NPC, this build I think will help you the best because it kills them so fast. This build strongly relies on the heavy because the heavy teleports you to the enemy. And once you're teleported, you can just spam M1s. And the third M1 of this weapon also has a teleport as well. So you can just imagine how obnoxious this build can be. For the weapon itself, of course it has to be the Pro Dagger, and for the gem I used Insignia, and for the Reforge I did Relentless. This build surprisingly does a lot of damage. Just take a look at how fast I killed the Thief King. I also soloed the Shock Marauder if you want to see how that went. At first I didn't think this build was good for bosses, but it surprisingly is. And this is because every boss has a vulnerable moment that you can take care of with the Pro Dagger teleport. The strategy for bosses with this build is to basically teleport with your heavy whenever the boss is vulnerable. I 100% guarantee this build is probably the best PvP build. This game does have a PvP feature, it's just not often used, but PvP is probably going to be a big aspect in the future. So yeah, there's that as well. With this strat, you can probably solo a lot of these bosses, and as long as you're good at parrying, I'm sure you'll be fine with this build. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Subscribe to me for more Pilgrim's builds.